Have you ever thought about the reason behind the presence of similar characters or situations in different stories? Do you think it's possible that the authors intentionally incorporated these resemblances despite being geographically or temporally distant from each other? Good day everyone, we are the Group 3 and for today's discussion, we're gonna talk about the archetypal theory and its uses in the literary criticism. But before that, let us define what is archetypal theory first. Archetypal theory is also known as archetypal criticism. It is mainly focuses on identifying and analyzing recurring symbolic patterns, elements, and themes that are found across different myths, stories, and cultural narratives. So in simple terms, these are the way of studying literature and culture by looking for common patterns and symbols that appear across different stories and cultures. It is also help us understand the deeper meanings and themes that underlie these stories and how they relate to human experiences and identity. However, these recurring patterns are known as archetypes. Archetypes came from the Greek word archen, meaning original or old, and typos, meaning pattern or type. So the whole meaning of archetypes is original pattern of which all other similar person, objects, or concepts are derived. So one of the examples of archetypes is the archetype of the hero, which is a common symbol in many cultures representing courage, strength, and ability to overcome challenges. So here are the key concepts and characteristics of the archetypes or the archetypal theory. One is of course the archetypes. I've already discussed what is the archetypes, right? So it is one of the key concepts or the elements of the archetypal theory. So the next one is the collective unconscious. Collective unconscious is often associated with Carl Jung's concept of collective unconscious. Collective unconscious is a shared reservoir of human experiences and memories that influence the way we individuals perceive and respond to the world. So in simple terms, these are shared by all individuals, but it is something that they are not aware of. Third is the universal themes. Archetypal theory use to identify universal themes and motifs such as the hero's journey, the mother figure, the trickster, and the quest for knowledge. So in simple terms, archetypal theory used to identify themes and motifs that resonates with readers from various cultural backgrounds. Fourth is the cultural and mythological references. Archetypal theory looks for patterns in stories from different cultures to understand how they reflect human experiences. By studying myths, folktales, and religious texts, we can find common symbols and themes that connects us all. Number 5 is a depth and symbolism. Archetypal theory looks for hidden meanings and symbols in literature. It explores the deeper layers of significance that archetypal elements bring to a text. Through this as well, we can understand the deeper meanings in the story. Number 6 is the interpretation and transformation. Archetypal theory helps us understand that stories have common patterns and symbols. These patterns can be interpreted in different ways, and authors often change them to talk about modern ideas. Archetypal theory as well shows us how stories can have different meanings and be relevant to different times and cultures. Lastly is the psychosocial and spiritual dimensions. So archetypal theory explores how certain archetypes in stories tap into deep parts of our minds and souls. By studying these archetypes, we can understand ourselves better and gain insight into our thoughts and emotion. So in conclusion, archetypal theory helps us understand the universal and long patterns that exist in human culture and storytelling. It allows us to explore the common symbols and themes that connects different literary works and cultural stories throughout history and across different places. It also helps us see the similarities and connections between these stories even if they come from different times and cultures.
Hello everyone, good day. And now I'm going to discuss the historical background of the archetypal theory. Archetypal theory, also known as archetypal criticism, comes from the Greek word archetypes, which means original pattern. The concept can be applied to literature through the identification of recurring concept of elements of prose and poetry in a certain text, or in other words, archetypes. In literature, archetypes is also known as universal symbol. Emerged in mid-20th century as a significant approach to literary analysis. The term archetype can be traced to Plato, but the concept gained currently in 20th century literary theory and criticism through the work of the Swiss founder of analytical psychology, Carl Jung, during 1875 and 1961. The archetypal theory has its roots in the work of Swiss psychologist Carl Jung, who developed the concept of archetypes. Jung believed that the human psyche contains universal patterns or archetypes that are shared across cultures and time periods. These archetypes are innate and represent common human experiences. Jung's archetypal theory was influenced by his study of mythology, folklore, and religion. Jung believed that archetypes manifest in various forms, such as symbols, image, and the themes that they can observe in dreams, stories, art, and even in the behavior and attitudes of individuals. Psychologist Carl Jung and his collective unconscious proposed that human shares are reservoir of universal symbols and motives. Collective unconscious represents a form of unconscious that is part of the mind containing memories and impulses of which the individual is not aware. Some scholars such as Northrop Frye, Joseph Campbell, and Carl Jung himself contribute to the development of archetypal theory. Other scholars and researchers have further developed and expanded upon the archetypal theory. Carl Jung's archetypal theory laid the foundations for understanding the deep unconscious aspect of human mind. Writers, filmmakers, and artists often draw upon archetypal themes. His ideas have been used to analyze and interpret various myths and religious texts, examines symbols, motifs, and narratives. All in all, Carl Jung's discovery of archetypal theory in psychology, literature, art, mythology, and personal development provides understandings to the deep-seated universal aspects of human experiences.
A central focus of archetype theory is the identification and analysis of archetypes, focusing on recurring myths and archetypes in narrative symbols, images, and character types in literary work to find meaning. So, as what I have said, archetypal is concerned with the way cycles and reiterating patterns of tradition, culture, inborn images, and beliefs affect literary works. It operates with the idea that certain symbols represent the same ideas no matter the time or place. Such critics believe that any given story could be reduced to a specific archetypal core. This is the true meaning of work. Archetypal criticism is a synthesis of structural criticism and historical criticism. So, archetypal analysis seeks to uncover the underlying meanings and shared cultural resonances of these recurring patterns in literature and other forms of narrative. So, the main characteristic of this theory is that it revolves around the identification of the archetypal figures within the text and argues that these archetypes determine the form or function of the text. Therefore, the meaning of a literature is based on cultural and psychological myths. Archetypal critics believe that what makes a great literature is its exemplification of mythic elements in the text and causes ensuring appeal to the rest of the world. They believe that these archetype figures are part of the core of the humanity and human experiences that are universal for all cultures in the world. Therefore, archetypal figures give a text universal acceptance because they are based on human experiences and core values.
In archetypal theory, there are strengths and weaknesses. Let us first discuss the strengths. First, universal relevance. Archetypal theory highlights the universal themes and symbols that resonate across cultures and time periods. It provides a framework for understanding the common threads that connect diverse narratives. Second, deep exploration. This approach encourages a deeper exploration of the symbolic and psychological dimensions of literatures. It reveals layers of meaning that might not be immediately apparent. Third, interdisciplinary perspective. Archetypal theory bridges the gap between literature, psychology, mythology, and cultural studies. It allows for cross-disciplinary insights and connections. Fourth, cultural understanding. By identifying archetypal patterns, this theory offers insights into the cultural values, fears, and desires that occur in human storytelling. So let us move on to weaknesses. First is simplification. Critics argue that archetypal theory can oversimplify complex texts by reducing them to predetermined patterns. Not every element in a work can be neatly classified as an archetype. Lack of originality. Some works might be dismissed as derivative if they are analyzed solely through archetypal lenses, neglecting their unique artistic qualities. Third, universalism versus cultural specificity. The emphasis of universality might overlook the nuances and cultural specificities that make different narratives distinct. Fourth, subjectivity. Archetypal analysis can be subjective as different readers might identify different archetypes within the same text.
Archetypal theory has numerous advantages. It's a strategy that offers readers an alternative perspective and method of literary analysis. It fosters a multicultural appreciation of a shared mythological heritage. It also provides resources for self-discovery.
Good morning, everyone. So for today, I will be discussing the archetypes of literature by Northrop Frye. Anatomy of Criticism for Essays is a seminal work of literary critic Northrop Frye, first published in 1957. In this book, Frye presents a comprehensive and systematic framework for analyzing and understanding literature, drawing upon his extensive knowledge of mythology, literature, and cultural history. The book is divided into 4 essays, each exploring a different aspect of literary criticism. However, However, we just only focus on the third essay, titled Archetypal Criticism, as it is the most relevant to the concept of archetypal in literature. Northrop Frye's The Archetypes of Literature, as discussed in his book Anatomy of Criticism, provides a profound lens through which we can analyze and understand literature. This concept is a cornerstone of literary criticism, and here's a deeper exploration about this. First, what is archetypal criticism? Frye begins by discussing the nature of archetypes and how they function within literature. He defines archetypal criticism as a recurring narrative elements, symbols, or motif that transcends time and culture. For him, archetypes are like universal symbols deeply embedded in human consciousness, representing the fundamental emotions and experiences. Second, archetypes and literature. Frye suggests that literature is built upon archetypal pattern, so he divides archetypal imagery into three categories. First is situational archetypes. These are circumstances commonly used in many genres or stories, such as the quest or the journey. So second is the symbolic archetypes. These are objects or locations in a story that represents or symbolizing something deeper, such as the water symbolizing life and renewal. Another is dove, symbolizing freedom and peace. Third is character archetypes. These are common types of archetypes in literature, such as the hero and the villain. Third, the hero's journey. Frye delves into hero archetypes and highlights the hero's journey as a recurring pattern. This journey involves stages like the call to adventure, entering into a new world, facing challenges, and returning transformed. Fourth, myth and literature. Frye highlights the connection between literature and mythology. He suggests that literature frequently incorporates mythological archetypes, using them in a new way to explore timeless themes and human experiences. Fifth, archetypal patterns and unity. Frye argues that archetypal patterns create unity in literature by connecting stories across time and culture. These patterns resonate universal emotions and desire, making literature relatable to readers. Next, critic of monomyth theory. Frye critiques the monomyth theory popularized by Joseph Campbell. He acknowledges the hero's journey, but warns against oversimplifying all narrative into a single mythic structure. Lastly, the limitations of archetypal criticism. Frye recognizes the limitations of archetypal criticism. He notes that not all literature fits neatly into archetypal patterns, and some works may defy or go beyond these patterns. And I think that would be all.
Now let's move on to its significance. So what is the significance of archetypes of literature in archetypal theory? Archetypes of literature is significant in shaping archetypal theory by introducing it to literary analysis, classifying it into four genres, like it can be comedy, tragedy, romance, and irony. Also, by identifying its universal themes and motifs. This includes the hero's journey, the quest, the scapegoat, the trickster, and many others. By recognizing these universal patterns, readers and critics can identify common underlying themes and symbols in different literary work, even across different cultures and time periods. Moreover, the archetypes of literature is significant in shaping archetypal theory by influencing subsequent critics and scholars in the field of literary criticism, for it provided a new lens through which to analyze and interpret literature, focusing on deeper symbol meanings and the connection between works. To conclude, it paved the way for deeper understanding and appreciation of the symbolic and psychological aspects of literature. And that's it for the significance of archetypes of literature in archetypal theory.
In conclusion, archetypal theory is a psychological framework that explores the collective unconscious, a concept. According to this theory, humans possess innate and universal patterns of thought, feeling, and behavior known as archetypes. These archetypes shape our experiences, motivations, and interactions with the world. By studying archetypes, psychologists can gain insights into the deep rooted aspects of the human psyche and understand recurring themes and symbols in mythology, folklore, and literature. Archetypal theory helps us understand the human condition and provides a valuable tool for interpreting and analyzing various cultural and artistic expressions throughout history. Archetypal theory provides also a valuable framework for understanding the deep-seated patterns, symbols, and themes that are part of our collective human experience. By examining archetypes, we can gain insight into the universal themes and emotions that shape our lives and connect us to one another across time and culture. Throughout archetypal analysis, we can see how certain characters, events, and symbols recur across different myths, stories, and cultural traditions. This recognition of these archetypes allows us to understand the underlying meanings and messages that these stories convey. By recognizing familiar archetypes in literature, films, and other forms of art, we can connect with them on a deeper level and find resonance with our own experiences. Furthermore, archetypes have a profound influence on our individual psyches. They tap into our unconscious minds, triggering emotional responses and shaping our thoughts, behaviors, and desires. By understanding these archetypes and their influence on our psyche, we can gain insight into our own motivations, fears, and desires. This self-awareness can lead to growth, healing, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and others. Archetypal theory also provides a useful framework for analyzing and interpreting cultural and societal phenomena. By examining the archetypes that shape our collective beliefs, values, and behaviors, we can better understand the underlying forces that drive societal trends, political movements, and cultural shifts. This understanding can help us navigate and make sense of the complex world we live in. In essence, archetypal theory allows us to explore the universal timeless aspects of human experience. By recognizing and understanding archetypes, we can gain insight into the fundamental patterns and themes that shape our lives and connect us to one another, whether through literature, art, or our own personal journeys. Archetypal theory offers a powerful lens through which we can deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Thank you.